Welcome back to Just Got Radio and BJPenn.com. I'm your host, Cole Shelton. Episode 192 is live ahead of UFC Mexico. First up, we're going to jump by one half of the main event. Steve Erceg preview his fight against Brandon Moreno. Really good chat with Steve about how this fight kind of came together. And then fighting a chance to fight Brandon Moreno. Steve obviously coming up back-to-back losses, lost to Pantoja, and then was knocked out by Kai France. Even though he's on 2-fight losing streak, he says he still wants the toughest fights. He was really excited to fight Moreno and go down to Mexico to fight him. And then we close things out talking to Vince Morales to preview his fight against Raul Rosas Jr. Obviously, a bit of a short notice fight for Vince. He just fought, but he said that was really good. Jumped right back into camp, and this is a fight he's really looking forward to. He thinks Raul is obviously very good, but he thinks there is some areas to exploit. But really good chat with Vince. So be sure to share the show, subscribe, and continue watching Just Scrap Radio and all the interviews on BJPenn.com. All right, we're jumping UFC flyweight Steve Erceg, who's heading down to Mexico to headline a card. Steve, how's it going, man?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, obviously you were supposed to fight in a couple weeks against Asu, and now you're headlining a couple weeks later against Brandon Moreno. Like, can you kind of walk me through how that all happened and how you kind of found out about all that?
Yeah, I mean, I got a call saying that Asu couldn't fight and that they have a replacement on March 29 against Moreno. Obviously, very exciting for me. It's a much bigger fight. Main event, 5 rounds in Mexico against a Mexican. I was very happy about it. But yeah, it looks like not true as far as Asu pulling out of the fight. So I don't know exactly what's going on with that. Maybe they just needed a fight and this was the easiest way to make it happen. But yeah, I think it worked out well for the both of us in the end. He's fighting Carp as a main event now, and I'm fighting Moreno as a main event. And then, we might meet up afterwards, or we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the whole thing was kind of weird because when they pulled you, or that fight was off, I thought, oh, Asu's out. And then after it got made, I'm like, they could have just kept you and Asu and made you guys the main event of that card and moved Cop to fight Moreno. But like, obviously, a much bigger fight. Like, how happy were you to get a main? Like, did you this kind of come surprise to get a main event spot for the last 2 fights?
Yeah, very much a surprise. I expected to be fighting lower tier opponents, at least for 1 or 2 fights, and then assuming obviously I win impressively, move back up to fighting higher ranked guys. But yeah, to get Moreno in Mexico, just I couldn't ask for anything more.
Your last fight against Kai, like, what do you take away from that? Like, obviously, it was a pretty quick turnaround to get that fight, especially after that 5-round fight against Pantoja. Like, what do you kind of take away from that one?
Yeah, I mean, it turns out Kai hits pretty hard, so that sucks. But no, I learned plenty. I guess I've always not dealt with good blitzes well. I always back up and I get out of the way of 1 or 2 shots most of the time. But obviously he caught me, so had to reevaluate and really work on that part of my game, and obviously looking to make myself a better athlete in general.
I know you wanted to fight on that card in Perth, but looking back, like, kind of wish you might have taken a bit more time off after that fight to Pantoja, or do you not have any regrets about that?
No regrets. Yeah. How could you pass up fighting in your hometown co-main event? You lose sometimes. It is what it is.
With Moreno, like, what coming off that win over Albazi was a pretty nice performance. Like, what he kind of made of his last couple fights.
I mean, he's always been a good fighter. Albazi, his main thing is wrestling. Like, he can strike, but he's going to sit in front of you. And I think Moreno does his best work when you're sort of sitting in his range and giving him those looks when you can sit slightly outside of his range, make him miss, that sort of thing. It just it makes his life a little bit harder. And I think I'm a better boxer than Albazi, so we'll find out what Moreno comes out and what he gives me.
Did you have to change any like training partners or how you were doing camp when you switched from Asu to Moreno?
Not really. I'm doing I've changed some things as far as I was doing a lot of single leg defense, whereas now it's more focused around the boxing and that sort of stuff. So as far as my training load and what the actual sessions, the sessions are the same. It's just what's happening in those sessions is slightly different.
Obviously a long travel to get to Mexico, and then with the elevation, like, are you heading out there earlier than kind of get accustomed to everything?
Yeah, I'm going to be there for 4 weeks. I'm going to really make sure that I'm acclimatized, ready, and I'll have no excuses if I gas out. That's for sure.
I I was trying to think, did you do the same with Brazil, or did you not go that
I
long?
went, yeah, I went out early, but not 4 weeks. I think I was
Yeah.
there 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, because I wasn't sure how the humidity and all that sort of stuff would affect me, and obviously time zones and that sort of thing. So I went out early, but this is the longest I've ever been
What
somewhere before a fight.
what was kind of the decision? Just like to kind of get used to the elevation, or is that kind of the big reason why?
Yeah, no, I got recommended that at least 3 weeks to acclimatize. They had like a certain number of hours that you have to hit and that sort of thing, and then because that's the minimum, they said we'd recommend that you did 4 weeks, and so that's what I did.
Is it hard to find a gym out there with some? I imagine some people probably won't want you training there with fighting the hometown guy.
No, they have the PI over there, so
Oh yeah, I forgot the PI's
yeah,
open
it'll
there
be
now.
yeah, it's been very easy. Yeah, very easy.
Uh, with this one, I think a lot of fans are kind of expecting a pretty fun striking fight. Like, how do you kind of see this one playing out?
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of punches thrown. Like it is a mixed martial arts fight, so I imagine he'll shoot on me, I'll shoot on him at some stage, just like the way it goes. But for the most part, I think we're going to be slinging leather at each other's faces.
Is there a lot of pressure going on for you? Like, just coming off two losses. Like, I know it is like you never know with the UFC. I don't think you're in danger of ever losing your job, especially like getting the main event spot. But like, is there any added pressure just being on that losing streak in this one?
I mean, there's always a little bit of extra pressure, I guess. Yeah, but uh, yeah, don't dwell on it. It's like I'm going out there to give it my best, and if everything doesn't work out, that's as long as I did my best, I'll live with it.
Is it still kind of surreal for you, like how crazy your UFC run and like how fast it's kind of gone? Like we're not even at like the 2 year point of you being in the UFC.
It honestly, I was saying this earlier today. It doesn't feel like the UFC and the athlete Steve doesn't feel like that's me almost. It's like I'm just
Hmm.
Steve at the gym. I'm hanging around all the people I've always hung around with, and then I'll see something of me online, or people will come talk to me, and because they recognize me, it's like it doesn't. I don't feel famous. I don't feel like all this cool stuff's happening. It's like very far removed. It doesn't feel like I fought Pantoja. It was I don't know. It's hard to explain. It doesn't feel real still.
Yeah, has like your life changed that where like you are getting recognized now in public and stuff?
Yeah, so I do get like most of my life hasn't changed, but
Yeah.
I imagine if I was going out partying every weekend or something, it would be way more noticeable. Because if I go to a pub or a club or something like that, I'll get noticed and take a lot of photos with people nowadays. But I'm not the guy that goes out very often, so I don't see that as often, I guess.
Uh, with Moreno and kind of has that Mexican like grit and chin, like it's hard to get him out. Like, are you kind of expecting this one to at least kind of hit those championship rounds?
Yeah, I expect every fight to go the distance, and then if it doesn't, that's a bonus. So I'm preparing really hard to go 5-5s, and obviously I'd very much like to finish him, but I'm prepared to go five if necessary.
How much do you look back on that experience since Pantoja, like kind of what to do or what not to kind of pace yourself to get ready for those 5 rounds? Because you fought well in those 5 rounds, and like I think that was a big kind of question mark going into that one was how would your kind of cardio hold up?
Yeah, I mean it gave me confidence that I can go five. Um, it is a very different five this time
Mhm.
than it was with him though. Like he is going to push really hard to get takedowns and that sort of thing, and then for the most part, if I get back up, he'd like back off because he needed a little bit of rest after the grappling exchange. Whereas getting up, I don't feel like it's quite as tiring. Whereas this fight is going to be him coming forward at me on the feet for 25 minutes. So I have put in a lot of work with Richard Lockett for a long time, and I know that he's exactly that, a pressure fighter who's willing to take a shot and to throw a million punches around. So I'm going to be ready to go 5-5 of an unbelievable pace if necessary.
Were you surprised or a bit not surprised, maybe like disappointed that you didn't get on that Sydney card just recently, or was this, or were you not that given you just fought in Perth, like you were kind of fine fighting wherever?
No, of course I wanted to fight in Sydney, but uh, I guess either people didn't want to come over or the UFC didn't want. I'm not sure, but this is massive. So
Yeah.
it's not like I'm devastated or anything. It's
Yeah.
like it was disappointing, but this is huge too. So I'm very happy with the fight they gave me.
What do you think a win over Brandon does here? Like, it seems like Kai would be next, and then it's kind of like you, Brandon, Manel, Asu, and maybe whoever looks the best kind of out of those two fights kind of can be up to Kai. Like, where do you think this kind of puts you?
I think mostly it gets people to stop calling me a bum. That's what I'm looking forward to. Oh, Steve's actually okay again. Um, as far as what it does for me in the division, I really do think, yeah, Kai is next, and then Royval gets the winner. That's my personal opinion. And so I do think I need at least one more win after this one to even start talking about titles and all that nonsense again.
You have a lot of people like calling you bum right now. Then,
Oh, of course.
which is,
Yeah, it doesn't matter how well you're doing. Somebody's going to say that you suck. But yeah,
it's crazy because like really out of all the contenders, like your fight against Pantoja was probably the closest anyone's ever been, and then you just get caught against Kai, and Kai's knocked out a lot of guys. Like it's not like you're losing to like guys that are like 0-5 in the UFC or whatever.
people don't like when you ruin their multi. I think that's what it really is.
Yeah. Just final thing for you, like obviously not looking past Brandon, but like what is kind of the goal for you this year? Like kind of first fight this year, like is it kind of maybe one more, like hopefully, or get two? Like what is kind of the goal for you?
Yeah, I'd like to fight twice more after this, but yeah, I just want to fight the baddest dudes out there, and we'll find out, yeah, who the best is. That's all I ever wanted to be, to find out who the toughest guy in the world is.
Well, Steve, I appreciate the time as always. Thanks so much for doing this again.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yep. All right, we're joined by UFC family Vince Morales, who has a bit of a short notice fight. Vince, how's it going, man?
Good, man. Real good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Like just quickly in the last fight, like a very tough guy against Elijah, like a pretty competitive, close fight. Like I know you almost had the choke at the end. Like, what do you kind of take away from that fight? Like, it was a pretty, like I said, pretty tough and close fight you had.
Yeah, man. I guess to be fair, like I don't know if I've really talked about the fight with anybody too much yet, but I know in the cage, right when it was going on, before when they were announcing the decision, I thought I'd had it. I thought if anything, I edged 1 and 3, and then I for sure won 2. So I'm like, okay, cool, I got it. And then they announced him the winner. I'm like, God damn it, here we go again. And went backstage and looked at myself in the mirror, and I was like, oh, that's probably got something to do with it. Like, I just got this weak skin, dude, that's been busted open. I think I'm at like 27 cuts over the course of fighting and training just on my face. So, yeah, just unfortunate. I felt ready. I felt like, man, if we had a couple more rounds, I was down for that too. Like, I was just ready to scrap. And regardless of outcome, I did really enjoy being in there with him. He pulled me into some good things. He landed some good little counters, which I was expecting him to like sit and exchange with me a little bit more. So good on him for that. Yeah, fun fight. I thought we were shoo-in for fight of the night, and then damn RoboCop does this thing.
After that one, I thought maybe you'd take a bit of time off, just kind of heal everything up. Like, was the goal like always to make this quick turnaround, or how did this fight kind of come together?
Not real sure. Management hit me up about it, and well, after the fight, I was talking to management, and I was like, dude, I don't know what they're gonna do with me. I don't know where we go from here. I felt like I'm in there scrapping, and I kind of fixed some of the things that caused me to lose my UFC spot in the first place, and coming up short. And they're like, well, dude, it was a great fight. Just stay ready whenever you're ready to get back in there. And I was like, for me, the sooner the better, because I'm losing my shit right now. Like, I was just a little bothered from the, I guess, outcome of that. And I was already back training and everything. Like, I told him, let my skin heal up for a week, and then I'll be good to go. And I went and got cleared from the doctor. The nose wasn't broken, even though it looked mangled. I just get cut. So yeah, I was down for whatever. And then they hit me with this one. I was like, cool, let's go to Mexico.
I know people like going to Mexico early to get used to the elevation. Yep. Are you gonna head down there any earlier? Or are you just gonna take it on?
I'm heading down there a little bit early. I'm going on the 21st, so I'll be there like 9 days if you count that day. But to like prep for the elevation and stuff over there, the UFC PI they have what's called the stratosphere, which simulates higher altitudes. So I'm going in there. I just did my ears still need to pop. I just did my first session with them today, and we're hitting that every day up until we leave. So I'll be prepped and acclimated, and then or as much as we can with the notice. And then I'm headed up to Mount Charleston, where we get to similar elevation, and I'm going to be doing some workouts up there. Just trying to do all the right stuff that I can still do all my skill building with my proper team. And then we head over there when we can.
Was there a worry from you of like, you maybe the UFC lets go again after that fight? I know you always put on exciting fights, but you never kind of know with the UFC. Like, was that a thought of like, hey, that might have been it for me again?
Dude, that's a thought for me every single fight. Like every fight to me is the most important fight. Like I was worried about that when I lost to Lapalus. Like, bro, like they brought me back, and that's the kind of like, here we are again. And then I was like, okay, well, whatever, we'll fix it. We'll get in there and fight. And then right after I was like, bro, I hit up my manager. I was like, dude, are they gonna like we on the chopping block because of all this or what? He said, listen, they know you put on exciting fights, then they know you're down to scrap. Like, when are you down to scrap? The sooner we can get back in there, the better we're gonna look. I was like, okay.
And Raul Roses, like, I was surprised he wasn't on the card originally, like, and then they kind of added it late. Do you know, like, you're filling in for someone who's never announced, or like you guys both kind of taking it short notice?
Dude, you know what's crazy? So I think I got hit up about that on like last Friday, I think is what happened. Yeah, last Friday, management hit me up about it. But Thursday or Wednesday, I can't remember what day it was. I ran into Raul at the PI, and I was talking to him, and I was like, dude, you got something booked? And he's like, no, like we're waiting and seeing. He goes, I want to get on that Mexico City card. And I was like, oh, that'd be cool, man. I hope you get it. And then sure enough, they hit me up about it. I'm like, okay, fuck it, here we go.
What have you kind of made of his fights? Like, he looks obviously a really good grappler. I know the Chris Rodriguez fight was tough, but like, I know he hasn't fought a huge level of competition, but like, what he kind of made of his UFC run.
Right. I think he's scrappy, bro. Like he used to train with us over a syndicate here and there and stuff. He's good. He's pretty solid everywhere. Like I think everybody knows it's his grappling that is the standout thing. So we're just make sure we're adequately prepared for that, and it won't be the first time I felt his grappling. So we're kind of prepped in that sense mentally. Yeah, I think we go out there and we have a pretty good fight. I think we have a high paced back and forth little scrap, and then I think for where I'm at and what I'm doing, I got to put this dude away.
Do you like worry about the skin cutting up again, like just kind of this quickly again, or is it just kind of think it's gonna happen every fight?
Every time, bro. I'm trying to find a way that I can go talk to the judge and be like, hey, if I'm bleeding, I'm just a bleeder. Like, don't worry about it. Like, I got cut the week before the fight, the last fight. It happens to me constantly in training too. So it's just, yeah, I'm hoping I don't get cut. I think I got some of that Nate Diaz skin going on or something, just extra scar tissue from over the years, and I just tend to get cut up. So if I do, I just know I'm gonna have to. If I'm bleeding, I'm gonna have to put it on him extra.
How much pressure is going on into you this one? Like, do you kind of think it is you got to win to save your job?
Yeah, but like I said, I think that's how I looked at the last one too, really. So I'm just gonna go out there and do whatever I can, wherever I can, in every position, and try to put it on this dude and break him and beat him. I think he's gonna have some of that young fire. I think he's gonna come out kind of hot, and I think I respond well to that. So let's go, dude. Let's scrap.
He's obviously has the Mexican background, fighting in Mexico. Like, is there a thought of like, I can't let this fight be close or let it get to the scorecards because you kind of don't really know what's going to happen down there?
Yeah, man. I think I just got to get in there and put him away. I think that's all there is to it for my future, for the outcome, for to seal the deal. I got to do everything I can to break this dude. So that's what we're working on. That's what we're planning.
How do you kind of see it playing out?
I think the first like round and a half, maybe 2 rounds, are real scrappy. I think depends on how much he's acclimated to. I think it's going to come down to that last round and who can dig. And I just plan to be there and fucking dig for everything I get. Like we were just saying, that if this is me on the chopping block again, then I got to get out there and prove that I'm worthy of getting off that damn chopping block and keeping my job essentially. So, yeah, man, whatever it takes, I'm going to get in there and beat this dude.
I imagine you didn't have a whole lot of time to add a lot of weight or like really get out of shape. So is that kind of beneficial for your cardio for this one? Or you think like,
I think so.
I think so. 3 hard rounds?
Yeah, man, I think so. Like, I'm actually lighter right now than I was for my entire training camp for the last one. So as far as weight goes, I'm in a good spot. As far as cardio, I think took like a week off just to let the skin heal, and I was already back training and lifting weights and everything. So yeah, I think it works well for me, especially mentally. Like I know what it's like to just get in there and just get in a hard like fought fight. So I'm good to go.
What do you think a win over Raul does for you? Like he's a highly touted prospect. I think a win, especially if you hand him his first ever finish, like do wonders for you.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. I'm trying not to think about that too much. I don't want to like focus on the wrong stuff. I'm sure to the casuals it makes me like a legitimate fighter, really. But yeah, man, whatever. I'll think about that a little bit more when that comes. For now, I gotta put all my focus on doing the right stuff so I can beat this dude.
Do you think there is a lot of pressure on him too? Like fighting in Mexico, I think if you just kind of look at it, people look at your record and be like, "Oh, this is an easy fight for Raul. Like he's supposed to go in and beat you." Like, do you think that is something to it where like there is a lot of added pressure to him?
Definitely. I think he's going to be feeling more of that pressure from that kind of stuff than I will, for sure. I just got to get in there and scrap. So yeah, I don't know whether or not he rises to that pressure or it crumbles him down a little extra. Who knows? I'm not banking any extra, not putting any extra weight on that. If he's the best, if he rises to that and is the best on that, that's where I'm going to beat him anyways. So,
already second fight of the year, which is freaking such a have an active year. Like, what is kind of the goal for the rest of the year to get the win here?
I still want 4 fights. That was my goal going into 2025. I wanted 4 fights, 4 wins. I might have to take 5 fights so I can get the 4 wins part, but whatever, step in the right direction.
Yeah, but I mean, it's pretty crazy already. Second fight end of March, like kind of can even if you return in like June, July, it still says you have to have another 2 after that.
Hell yeah, which I love. I like that. Like I ain't getting any younger, so the more I can get in there and fight while I can, like sign me up.
Just final thing we have to talk about is your cousin Ricky Simone. What a win that was! Like a lot of people were overlooking him. I think a lot of people thought he was going to lose and maybe get cut from the UFC. Like, what was that like to see? Not him just win, but like win like that with that first round knockout.
I was just sitting on my couch and like halfway in tears for him. Granted, I think I was emotional from my fight being the week before, but still, like, like dude, he so proud of that dude. I take something he said after the fight too really resonated with me and my position as well. Like he didn't lose any confidence being on the streak that he was on, and neither have I for my streak. Like he knows he can compete with the best in the world. I feel like I can compete with the best in the world. So kind of doubling down on that sort of mindset for this fight for myself. And shout out to Ricky for doing what he did and motivating me in that sense.
Were you surprised when people were overlooking him? Like, I feel like a lot of people were writing him off thinking like his career was over after a couple losses.
Yeah, man. But like a little bit just because I'm surprised just because like I know Ricky and like we know fighting and stuff like that. So it's anybody can kind of lose on any given day. So like just the fact of you're in a rough spot and people write you off or whatever, like it sucks to see because I mean ideally it'd be nothing but support, but so be it. That's the nature of the game. And if we can't have everybody's on our side when we're going in afterwards, they're definitely going to be on our side.
Well, Vince, I appreciate the time on short notice. Had him get you going down to Mexico. Best of luck fighting. Thank you again for doing this.
Appreciate it, Cole. I'm ready to scrap, dude. Thank you.